What's up YouTube, capital G here, so you guys know how everyone in the Yu-Gi-Oh community has been absolutely thrilled with the new ban list. The fact that after all of this time, Firewall Dragon has finally been banned. A lot of us thought it could never happen. A lot of us thought that they would not do it until the Reigns era came to an end. Well, is your body ready potentially for a Firewall Dragon 2.0, a sequel to one of the worst cards in Yu-Gi-Oh history? Because it could actually be happening. What the heck are you talking about, Cap G? What I am talking about is how Konami has just officially announced that YUSAKU, Playmaker, the main character from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Reigns anime, if you don't watch the anime, he will be getting a new official Ace Monster in the Starter Deck 2019. Now, this is going to be released in the OCG, I believe off the top of my head, March 23rd, 2019. If I had to give a best guess as to when we're going to see this in the TCG, I'd probably say around July, because that's when Code Talker came out this year. I believe that's also when Link Strike, the starter deck that released Decode Talker and gave us the first Link monsters like Honeybot and all that good stuff. I believe that also came out in July as well, and it talks about here it's kind of like a mini presser, a little bit about the starter deck, and one of the main things that Konami wants to start, talking about when it comes to this product is the fact that Playmaker is going to be getting a new Ace Monster. Now, it does say that it's going to be from the anime, so I assume that it's going to appear in the show first. If I had to take a best guess, because right now I'm on episode about 45 in the anime, but I believe the anime is around just about to hit like episode 80. I'm thinking that the next cards that Playmaker is going to play and whatever duel that he's in, I know that Blood Shepherd's dueling right now. I don't know if he's playing against Playmaker or not, but I assume whatever the next big summon or the next big boss monster that Playmaker summons, it's probably going to be stuff from, or probably going to be stuff that appears in Dark Neostorm, and then maybe the duel after that might actually reveal this brand new boss monster. But let me go ahead and read, and we'll talk about this a little further. So it says, a major key sales point for the Starter Deck 2019 is it will contain YUSAKU's new Ace Monster in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Reigns animated series. So there it is, it's confirmation. Our boy is going to be getting a new Ace Monster, and to me, this just opens up so many possibilities and so many points of discussion here, because obviously Firewall Dragon got banned in the TCG, it's not banned in the OCG, so it kind of makes me wonder if Konami is planning for there to be a brand new face of the Reigns era, if they realize, like, look, Firewall Dragon it's a detriment to the game, even though obviously, you know, it's a card that looks great in the anime and, you know, the little kids love it, etc., etc. It's actually just a cancer to the game. Maybe Konami is like, we can just give a new Firewall Dragon type card to the players and the kids can kind of transition over to that. It makes me think that maybe this is the only reason, this new Ace Monster that's going to be released in this set, maybe this is the only reason that Firewall Dragon, that's, you know, Konami in the TCG, maybe that's the only reason that they got the okay to actually ban Firewall Dragon over here. It also makes me think that in the OCG, Firewall Dragon probably will be getting banned, and you guys know how a lot of people have said, you know, maybe Konami is just going to put Firewall Dragon on ice for a little bit. Maybe they're just going to go ahead or errata it to be a once per turn and then end up bringing it back, which I believe that they could legitimately do. I think they could bring Firewall Dragon back in fucking January if they wanted to. If they just errated that second effect to be a hard once per turn, I would go back to running it in my Salamangreats, where I never even used this special summon effect, and Firewall Dragon would be a perfectly fine card. But I think that maybe they might not even think about it, because this might be a situation where they kind of want people to just kind of forget about Firewall Dragon. Like, would it shock me if YUSAKU stopped summoning Firewall Dragon altogether in the anime and they kind of wrote it out the show, which would just be crazy. You know what I mean? If they just write Firewall Dragon out of the show, he never summons it again until, I don't know, maybe like the final couple of duels or something like that. But these are all possibilities that are on the table, and it goes to say this, right? It goes on to say that this goes along with the fact that the deck is meant to be comfy for beginners to use, and the ultra rares one of which will be his new ace. It says can also come in secret rare. So not only is Konami already building hype and they're already generating a whole bunch of buzz specifically for this new ace monster, but they're also telling us that they're going to print this new ace monster in a fucking secret rare. Keep in mind, this is a starter deck. So if they're changing the rarities in starter decks and they're already talking this card up, this tells me that this is going to be something impressive. And I honestly wonder if it's going to be of the Firewall type of caliber, because I feel like ace monsters don't have to be all that powerful. For the most part, they're just kind of, you know, there to look cool and get a whole bunch of different variations. Utopia, the original Utopia, it's all play at the very, very, very beginning of Zexal because we just didn't have any better cards. I think that Stardust Dragon was kind of like a really good medium of a card that saw a ton of play during Teledad, and, you know, it saw play throughout the 5Ds era. Once we got Starlight Road, it saw play that was pretty much attached to that card. But I wonder if Konami is going to make kind of another kind of, I don't want to call it a dragon because, you know, Firewall Dragon is a Cyburst card, but another dragon, I guess, card that looks like a dragon that's Cyburst that, you know, is very powerful a la Stardust Dragon, but just more balanced than Firewall Dragon. Are we going to see something like that? Now, I thought about the possibility of maybe us getting a new talker monster, right? Because, you know, the debate goes on at this point. I think that it's been a heated debate over the last 3 or 4 days. Like, what is YUSAKU's real ace monster? And I'll talk about the entire pattern a little bit later in this video. But I thought about a talker monster because you have to keep in mind, this is not a structure deck. This is a starter deck. Starter decks are basically supposed to be for beginners, and a lot of the, you know, advanced players, people who play competitive, don't really need starter decks, you know, other than to get a couple of cards that may be exclusive. You look at you know, the original starter deck. I think again it was called Link Strike. If I'm mistaken, go ahead and correct me. That gave us Decode Talker. You know, starter deck Codebreaker that came out a few months ago. That gave us Transcode Talker, which I think is my personal favorite because I run this in Salaman grades. And you know, we still have talkers out there like Shooting Code Talker, which we just don't have in the TCG, unfortunately. I don't know when we're going to get this, but the thing about it is, and this is why I was like, I don't know if it's actually going to be a talker monster, even though they have a history of coming out in starter decks and in structure decks, is because if you look at the talker monsters, Konami, unless I'm mistaken here, has already hit the entire attribute wheel. I mean, Transcode Talker is Earth, and, you know, X-Code Talker, the cover card from Extreme Force, that was Wind attribute. Every single talker attribute has been, or every attribute has been covered with a talker monster, unless Konami is going to do something, you know, extremely crazy that no one would predict and maybe give us a divine talker monster. But when I thought about that, I was like, yeah, that would be absolutely sick. Maybe it could be like a Link 4 talker monster, which all the rest of the talker monsters are Link 3. But the thing about it is, you guys know there's only like 5 divine attribute monsters in the entire, I believe off the top of my head it's 4. There's only like 4 divine monsters in the entire game. So what are the actual odds of Konami giving us a divine monster? I just don't really see it happening. And all the divine monsters, I believe, are also kind of like linked to the Egyptian god cards. So I kind of don't really see them giving us another talker monster because they already have all the attribute talker monsters. I feel like there might not be another talker monster in the Vrains era. I mean, maybe we might get like a Link 4 or something like that, but all the talker attributes are already covered, so that kind of leads me to think we might see another dragon type Cyberse monster. And for everybody out there who, you know, they're debating on one side of the argument with, you know, is Firewall the ace monster? Is Decode Talker the ace monster? For everybody out there clowning the people like myself who believe that Firewall Dragon was the ace monster, dude, there is enough evidence out there that really says Firewall Dragon is the ace. Especially if you watch the anime, I mean, even in the Duel versus Zaizen, which I think, I haven't seen, again, past Yu-Gi-Oh! Episode like 50, in Vrains, but to me, like, this was one of the best duels in the entire show. Like, look what Zaizen says about Firewall Dragon. He says, quote verbatim, "It's Playmaker's ace monster that defeated Revolver." Even Zaizen believes that it's his freaking ace monster. So it's like, bro, if the characters on the anime think Firewall Dragon is the ace, then what am I supposed to think? And it's really weird because sometimes they refer to like Decode Talker as the ace monster, and it's kind of crazy because there is actually an established pattern from at least like the GX era of what kind of defines the official ace monster. You know, one of the attributes or one of the characteristics of that pattern is kind of the 2500 attack, which obviously Decode Talker doesn't qualify. Utopia, Stardust Dragon, Elemental Hero Neos, and Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, they all have 2500 attack. So, you know, that would make you think maybe Decode Talker isn't the ace, but on the other hand, the ace monsters have always had multiple variations, and this is where Firewall Dragon actually breaks the pattern. It can be something like Elemental Hero Neos, where they went around the entire attribute wheel, or even Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, where they had an Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon for basically all the different mechanics. And this is where Firewall Dragon isn't part of that pattern, because there basically only is one Firewall Dragon. When I first saw, you know, the Cyber's Clock Dragon, the card kind of looks like Firewall Dragon a little bit, and you know, I knew it was the cover card for Soul Fusion. I thought that maybe it was going to be a fusion version of Firewall Dragon, but obviously it did not turn out to be that. So I think that both of the cards have kind of broken the pattern. Another thing is the variations of the ace monsters always end up being on one of the core booster sets, like a cover card, whether it be, you know, Odd Eyes Raging Dragon or Raging Tempest, Air Neos for Strike of Neos, you know, it can be Shooting Star Dragon for like Star Strike Blast, or which one am I missing? Utopia. I believe Judgment of the Light had a Utopia card on the front of it. So both of the cards kind of break the patterns. Who knows at this point what the ace monster is, but I know that if Konami is already talking about a brand new ace monster, this thing is going to be pretty damn important, and they're changing the rarity from ultra rare to fucking secret rare. So obviously they want people to be excited. It kind of tells me I need to hurry up and catch up on the anime so I can see this ace monster when it appears. My guess is it's going to be a Cyber's Dragon type. I don't think it's going to be another talker monster, and I expect it to be pretty damn powerful. I expect it to be not as OP as Firewall Dragon. I think that they'll actually R&D test this one, but I think that it'll be around maybe like Borreload power level. So whatever you guys think, leave it in the comment section below. Are you expecting it to be as OP as Firewall Dragon? That would just be insane if it was actually better than Firewall. Like, how could that happen where they ban Firewall Dragon and then they give him a new ace and it's better than Firewall? Like, that would just be absolutely disgusting. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already. Turn on that notification bell for daily videos and check out these other videos I know you'll enjoy.